If you started 2026 doing this, then you have already failed. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. I may not be Joe Rogan or Theo Vaughn, but I may very well be the person that you need to hear this from. Because sometimes hearing it from someone who you don't know and you aren't familiar with, someone who doesn't have a large influence on people, is sometimes the person that you need to hear something from the most. And I may just very well be that person. And the very thing that you should not be doing going into 2026 or actually being in 2026 is comparing yourself to others. That's right. If you started the year and you have goals and aspirations and you're already comparing yourself to others, then you have already failed. I know that may not be the thing that you want to hear, but it's the very thing that you need to hear. Before you take your first step, and as you take your first step, you're already saying, well, so-and-so did this. Well, so-and-so's doing that. You're already setting yourself up for failure. So-and-so's life does not have a reflection on your life. Their life experiences are quite different from yours. So taking their life advice is going to be very different for you, and it may not even apply to your life. What I'm saying is, you should take advice from people who have wisdom and take advice from people who walk through hell and back. But do not be comparing yourself to anyone. And it really doesn't matter whoever it is. If you're trying to accomplish a goal this year in 2026, and you're already saying, well, you know what I mean? This time last year, so-and-so already done this on the first day. It doesn't matter what so-and-so did. Today's your day, not their day. So focus on what you need to focus on. When I was in prison, before I got out, I couldn't worry about what everybody else was and wasn't doing when they did and didn't get out. I already understood that most people knew and assumed that when I got out, I was going to go back to prison. They thought I wasn't going to make it. I knew I was a changed man, but their perspective on me was that I was not a changed man, and I was going to do the same exact thing that I've always done and ultimately get the same exact results that I always got, which was catch another charge and end up back in prison, maybe this time forever. But here I am, successfully released from prison 20 years ago, and I have accomplished mountains and mountains in my life. I've went through valleys. I went through valleys of bones, dry valleys. And here I am in 2026 saying that this year is a year of extension. See, last year for the Pen and the Shank, my YouTube channel, we got momentum, and we're going to take that momentum from 2025, roll it into 2026 and grow. And our growth is going to be determined on the route and the decision making that I make for the channel that leads this channel into success. I cannot get into a competition with anybody else on YouTube or any other YouTube prison content channels when it comes to comparing myself to where they are and where they aren't. You can't do it. You can't get in that proverbial battle. You will lose it every time, and you will lose your mind, and it will self-destruct your ambitions, and it will take your train right off the track. Just because someone else has, tens of thousands of followers or even hundreds of thousands of followers, they earn that in a different way, and they may have taken a different route than I've taken. And they may have been doing this a lot longer than me. It's fine. You know what I mean? We all arrive where we arrive when it's time to arrive there. I don't know when they took their plane ticket. I probably took my plane ticket a lot longer than them. And you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have been on the plane a long time ago anyway, because I still had stuff to learn, to grow, to build my character. So when I built this YouTube channel, every negative comment that came in my comments section wouldn't destroy me, wouldn't break my motivation. You know what I mean? I wouldn't lose any sleep behind it. I would be able to read it and say, you know what? Delete. You know what? Block. Because sometimes that's what you have to do. And in 2026, if you're comparing yourself to others, I'm telling you, you're already failing. You can analyze others, you know what I mean? And analyzing others is beneficial depending on why you're doing it. And I wrote some little bullet points that I want to share with you, and that's one of them. You know what I mean? Analyze others. That's fine. But don't analyze them for the sake of comparing yourself to them. You know what I mean? Because you're going to fail on that. Self-comparison is a momentum killer, like I said a few minutes ago. If you start comparing yourself to others, it's going to just kill your momentum. And you're only 2 days into 2026, and you're looking and you're already you wanted to start a YouTube channel and you hadn't hit the play button yet. Don't overanalyze what others are doing. Hit play. It ain't going to be perfect. And if you already have a YouTube channel and you're trying to gain traction, well, improve today. What can you do better from last year and build upon that momentum today, right? Now, if others compare you, then there's not much you can do to control others. So if you have other people comparing you, you see it all the time on YouTube. You might see one YouTube channel come on and they comparing one YouTube channel to another YouTube channel and what's working for one and why this one isn't doing as good as the other one. You can't control that. There's nothing you could do about that. So you have to be able to take in the noise, filter the noise in and filter the noise out. It's going to go in your ear. Or you have to be wise enough to know, you know what, I'm not even going to listen to it because it doesn't have any bearing on my life. I can't control how other people compare me or don't compare me. So don't get too caught up in the comparison race. I'm telling you, focus on what you can do. There's a lot of things that you can be doing. So you don't have no time to compare yourself to anybody. Focus on what you can do and improve on it daily. Not every actor achieves superstardom like Denzel Washington. But can you imagine movies without Danny Trejo? That's right. Not everybody's going to be Denzel Washington. Not everybody is going to be what they call an A-list actor. It's okay. We need B and C-list actors and actresses. They deliver some of the most iconic movies that we have in cinematic history. Some of the best movies that are cultural, icons to this very day. Movies such as The Warriors. That was never supposed to be as big as it is. The critics of the day said the Warriors movie, when they critiqued it, they said the movie would come and go. But to this very day, rappers rap about the movie Warriors. There are video games about the movie Warriors. People are still looking at clips about the movie Warriors. We're waiting for a Warriors Part 2, or sequel that we never got. But who knows, we may get it. Warriors merch sells. You know what I mean? They have action figures after the Warriors. Funko Pops. People have told stories based on the movie The Warriors. And it doesn't have any A-list actors in it. See what I mean? Some of the same movies that came out that same year that had A-list actors, we don't even know about those movies because they came and went. They did what the Warriors were supposed to do. Fell into irrelevancy, into oblivion. And the Warriors stood the test of time, no matter what the critics said. That's why you can't worry about what people are saying about you in 2026. You have an audience. You have a success story, but you're not going to get to your success story unless you start doing something about it. If you got ideas, well, you got to take the first step. Start your LLC. You know what I mean? Start your YouTube channel. Write your paper. Enroll in the school that you want to go to. I don't know what it is. It's different for everybody. But I've been home from prison for 20 years. And like I said, I've accomplished a lot of mountains. I've attacked a lot of demons. I've slayed a lot of demons. I haven't reached the pinnacle of my life. I don't think I'll ever reach a spot in my life where I get and say I've accomplished everything I need to accomplish on this side of eternity. I just haven't, you know what I mean? But I'm trying to tell you, if you compare yourself to the best of the best in whatever it is that you're interested in getting in, you are ultimately setting yourself up for failure. I cannot compare myself to people on YouTube who have hundreds of thousands of followers or even millions. I'm just a couple years into this YouTube thing. I can't do it. I can't compare myself. You'll drive yourself crazy, and it's just not worth the energy. You should be putting your energy into your next video and getting better talking in front of this camera. And you only do that over time. And you know what? Not everybody is going to be the A-list actor. Remember that. There are YouTube podcasts and YouTubers who aren't, you know what I mean, over 1 million subscribers, and they're very, very influential. You just got to find your lane, stay in your lane, and you're going to grow. And people are going to know who you are. And you're going to gather the influence that you need at the right time. But don't compare yourself to nobody. The point is, even if you don't achieve the highest level particular success in a particular thing, it doesn't mean you're a failure. That doesn't mean that that's the case. And there's a prayer that I always used to dwell on throughout my life, especially my young teenage life, that always meant a lot to me. And I remember when my wife was in undergraduate school and she was going through a lot, maybe it was in graduate school, she was going through a lot, and her professor told her one time, and she was going through hell in her personal relationships and hell at university. You know what I mean? All the forces of the enemy was trying to come against her. And one of the most unlikeliest people, her professor, told her the serenity prayer, which she had probably already heard. But it was the fact that he told it to her. You know, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That prayer, those simple words, if you say them to yourself and ponder on them, you'll see how powerful they really are. And this is another thing. If this is your year, then plant your tree. If this is your year, plant your tree. What you waiting for? This is it. This is the beginning of the new year. It's a new start. Plant your tree if this is your year. What you waiting for? Get out the shovel, get your seed, dig up the hole, and put your seed in the hole. Plant your tree. It ain't going to grow into no tree if you don't plant it. So if you haven't planted it yet, and this year isn't an extension from last year, then you need to plant your tree, and you need to plant it now. Don't wait. And if your tree's already planted, just start watering it. If you already planted your tree and you haven't seen any results yet, keep watering your plant. Water your seed until you see some sprouts. And if your tree is already planted, you know what I mean, and you're already seeing saplings, and you already have, you know what I mean, a tree that's starting to grow, well, trim that tree accordingly. You know what I mean? Care for that tree. Because now you're seeing some results. You know what I mean? If you're starting to gain traction in YouTube and you have subscribers on whatever social media account you use, well, continue doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? Especially if you know that you're gaining some momentum. Learn on it, grow on it. You know, you get the point. So the point of this video was that if you started 2026 comparing yourself to others, you're probably already failing. So now's the time to quit comparing yourself to others. Now is the time to look in the mirror and compare yourself to yourself and figure out what it is that you're going to do to be a success this year. And if you haven't, like and subscribe to The Pen and the Shank, the most unusual and unique crime and prison channel experience on YouTube. And hit that bell notification, because I promise you, I cover topics differently than anybody else in my genre. And if you go back and check all my videos out, I got everything, you know what I mean, that relates to this genre. And I'm talking to you as an ex-convict, someone who was supposed to fail and someone who is succeeding. And you know what? I'm succeeding at a level where I still need to grow, and I'm still learning. But I'm taking 2026 as the year of extension. And I'm believing that you're going to do the same thing. Like I said, we're going to see where we at a year from now. But if we don't do nothing today, we ain't going to have nothing to talk about in 12 months from now. So let's get it.